Hey, Shepherd, do you read me? Shepherd, do you read me? Come on, Shepherd. How come he doesn't answer? This is John Glenn. Shepherd. Okay, John. You have been once in space. You know, his capsule is rotating around the Earth. Try again in 15 minutes. He is out of reach at this moment. Mr. Chairman, fellow Toastmasters, most distinguished guests, tonight my speech is about some of the many strategic issues John F. Kennedy was coping with in beginning of the 60s. John F. Kennedy was the 35th American president, the first Catholic Irish president of the United States. My purpose tonight is try to make a link between strategic issues JFK was dealing with, and if there is a link today with Obama's mandate. Could you recall 1, 2, or 3 specific issues J.F. Kennedy had to cope with in the beginning of the 60s? And one of you?
Cuba.
Cuba. Cuba.
His assassination?
Right? He had to cope with that afterwards.
The moon.
The moon. Nikita Khrushchev. Mr. K. Khrushchev, yes. What? The Cuban?
The business, the war business with Khrushchev and Nikita Khrushchev was...
You mean the Cuban crisis? The Cold War?
The Cold War.
During the Cuban crisis.
During the Cuban crisis. Any other issues that President Kennedy had to deal with?
Marilyn Monroe.
That was quite a domestic...
No, you've been cheating on his wife.
I'm talking about political and economical issues, not private ones. Okay, I had a few. Would the space race would be an issue here? You know, there was John Glenn here talking to his colleague Shepherd. You know John Glenn? Who is he?
Cosmonaut, astronaut.
He is an astronaut, yes. In the beginning of the 60s, when Kennedy came in power, he knew that Soviet Union was leading the American by 3 or 4 years. Who sent a man in space first?
Russian.
Khrushchev. Do you know the name of the person, of the astronaut?
Yuri Gagarin.
Yuri Gagarin. And now, look at this. Yes? You want to speak to the president? Well, he's already his brother. Bob, okay, come in. Here's Bob. Hey, Jack! You know what happened? They've done it. Who done it? They've done it. They sent a man to space before us. I mean, this morning. How come? They've told me what? I know what happened. They've sent a monkey to the space. We send also a monkey to the space. We should have skipped that phase and send a man right away. We would have won it. This was a dialogue between Bob, his brother, and John. They missed it by 2 weeks. President Kennedy was a great American. He would defend, he would like the US to be the greatest in space. What we don't know, and it is being revealed very recently, John F. Kennedy proposed a secret deal with Mr. K. A joint venture in space. Imagine, beginning in the 60s during the Cold War. He talked to Mr. K 2 times. One in 1961 and one in 1963. And he had an agreement. Imagine, in 1963, Russians and Americans would make a joint venture in space. Well, we know what's going on now. But back at that time, impossible. He made it. But he was shot to death. And his successor, Vice President Johnson, when he became president, he dropped that agreement. But do you know what Johnson did else? John Kennedy, when you look at Vietnam, in the beginning of the 60s, French were pulling out of Vietnam. And military advisor told Kennedy, we should go in right away. He said, back off, back off. We'll send military advisors. That's what he did. By the end of his mandate, he was going to pull out of Vietnam. Imagine, history would have been totally different. John F. Kennedy is a very great president, maybe because he was shot to death. But we know now that during 3 years of his presidency, he tried to do things that were merely impossible at his time. He didn't say, we can do it. Yes, we can. No, he said, we do it. And he did it. So, there is something between John F. Kennedy and Obama. Because these 2 presidents try to govern by reason, by creativity, and try joint ventures. Not discriminating between nations, trying to pull them together. This is why I see a link between John F. Kennedy and Obama mandate today. Yes, there has been the Cuban Missile Crisis. And just like Obama, the military advisors told Kennedy, you just go in war right away. Our jet planes and we bombed Cuba. And he said, back off. We will negotiate. And after 1 week, he had an agreement with Mr. K. 1 week. Isn't that marvelous? This was the first time that we could have a worldwide nuclear war. And he managed to avoid it. I think that Obama would have done the same. This is why I think that Kennedy was a great president, as Obama is one also, because they think with this, and they want more peace than war. Mr. Chairman,